The Team Fortress 2 community just can't catch a break. I swear, at this point, Valve is going out of their way to make them feel awful for still liking this game. Because a while ago, they said they're going to start updating the game, which they haven't really done. And then one of the only projects that was going to update the game at all was DMCA'd by Valve. They just took down the Source 2 conversion for Team Fortress 2, and no one really knows why. They kind of just suddenly were like, hey, this thing can't exist. And they just struck it down. Maybe there was an update that I missed because I am just rambling about this. But from what I've seen, people really don't know why it's been taken down. Valve's been quiet about it, and the devs don't really know why either. It just got DMCA'd. Or if they do know why, they're not saying. Either way, it's not the end of the world because the people developing were probably going to stop anyways. They described the DMCA from Valve as the final nail in the coffin because Face Punch Studios, the guys who made Rust as well as Garry's Mod, have a game engine called Sandbox that's Source 2. And Sandbox recently had a massive overhaul. And the devs who were making TF2 in Source 2 were pretty upset because they found out they'd have to rework the entire game. And then Valve came along and DMCA'd the project. So basically, it just wasn't worth it for them anymore. They would have had to redo basically the entire game, and Valve is no longer happy with them and basically said, don't make this or we're gonna come after you. This is pretty disappointing news because honestly, TF2 is a really good game. I'm a huge fan of it, and I will preach about this game until the day I die because this game is better than a lot of shooters that have come out recently, and it was released in 2007. It's been almost 20 years. And this game still looks better than half the games that come out now. It runs better because it's designed to work on a toaster from 2007. And the classes are good. The classes are top tier. I will never not sing the praises of this game because it is insane how well it's held up being as old as it is. And it kind of sucks too that TF2 has all these problems surrounding it because the game itself is fine. There's nothing wrong with the game itself. The guns are balanced. The gameplay's good. It can run on pretty much any system, so you can play it with pretty much anyone. And it has like custom game modes and community servers you can play on. The game itself is really good. It's all the problems surrounding the game that make it really hard to defend super hard, or at least defend Valve, I should say, because the big elephant in the room is the fact that TF2 has had the source code leak, so people who want to cheat or mod or hack or whatever just have the source code. They can just do whatever, which is really bad because it makes making cheats the easiest thing in the world. And TF2 has a problem with that. And it's not really cheaters, actually. It's more of just bots. I don't know how bad the situation is currently, but I do know that it's not fixed, because if it was fixed, I would have seen this everywhere, that TF2 has been fixed, because this bot problem has been a problem for like 2 to 3 years, I want to say. It's been a while. Basically what happens is if you load into a casual game, you will probably see a bot sniper just teleporting around the map or flying that is just getting headshots and killing people. There is nothing you can do about it. If you kick them, a new bot will join. But yeah, you can imagine it's not very fun to click casual match and then immediately get put into a lobby with a bot and just instantly murdered no matter what you do. Now, community servers don't have this problem, at least that I'm aware of. You can just join a community server and just play the game. I did that for this gameplay footage you're watching now. So you can still play the game, you just can't play it as like a casual. You kind of have to know this about the game or else you're gonna have a bad time. It should be nice if Valve could fix that problem, but honestly, I don't know if they physically can. I feel like they literally just can't fix the problem because they think they would have by now if they could. So that's probably a reason why Valve just lets this game die. I've also heard rumors that a single dev is working on TF2 at Valve, and that could be wrong. I've heard it a lot, and I feel like it's true, but it's also one of those things that you would feel like is true, but then it's also like, it's really convenient that a single dev at Valve is the hero of TF2. It's like a really like good story. I don't know. So let me know in the comments down below if that's actually true or not. It just sounds like a fairy tale story, so I'm not 100% sure. And on the topic of the art style of the game, just circling back real quick, I could have nostalgia for the art style, and that might be why I'm more okay with it. But I also just think it holds up. Like, it's just a good-looking game because they didn't rely on hyper-realism at the time. They just made something with a good art style. Like, the game doesn't look new by any means. Like, the shading could definitely use work, but it still looks good, and I don't think someone would assume it's from 2007. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at this with rose-tinted glasses because I played this game when I was a kid. It's just kind of a shame that TF2 is just on its deathbed, especially since this game is still more active than, like, a lot of newer titles. And to be fair, the game might not actually be as active as Steam says it is because there's been a lot of questions about the Steam charts. They just don't look right. Like, there's a lot of points where it just drops off for seemingly no reason and then shoots back up. It just doesn't look right, and this could just be TF2 in particular and how it reports player numbers, but it's just weird. And I've seen other people question the player numbers that play this game way more than I do, that have said the player numbers look weird, and they probably are a little fishy. So I think you should take the player numbers in the game with a grain of salt, because it just might not be accurate. I don't think Valve is doing anything to like make the player numbers look better than they are or anything like that, because that would make no sense. Why would Valve do that for a game they're trying to get rid of? Like, they're obviously trying to get rid of this game. They don't want to support this game anymore, guys. Like, it actually makes no sense for Valve to lie about the player numbers for this game and then not give it updates and not give it new cosmetics. Like, that doesn't make any sense. What is the incentive for like misleading people like that? Like, there is none. There is none. Like, maybe TF2 does make them like a lot of money and I'm just totally oblivious, and they would have all the incentive in the world to like lie about the player numbers. But like, Counter-Strike 2 exists and that has way more players and probably makes them way more money. I just don't see a reason why they would do it intentionally. Yeah, the player numbers are weird, but I don't think Valve would do it on purpose. And on Valve DMCAing the Source 2 project for Team Fortress 2, it is a little weird that they did that, and I really want to know the reason, because Black Mesa exists, and Black Mesa is basically just a remake of Half-Life that you can buy on Steam. Like, it uses Half-Life stuff in the game. Maybe not the exact assets, but like, it's definitely the Half-Life universe. And I feel like if you made a Marvel game in the Marvel universe, Disney would sue you to oblivion for making that. Like, maybe Black Mesa had like special permission from Valve that I'm unaware of. I wouldn't be surprised by that, but it's just a little weird that this is okay and then Source 2, Team Fortress 2 is not. And like, who knows? Maybe Valve took it down because they're like, wait, we're making the Source 2 version of Team Fortress 2. We can't have other people do that. I could totally see them doing that because Valve is not like Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't want anything involving their games that they didn't do themselves to exist ever. If you want to play a game that is 30 years old and you can't do it from Nintendo, they don't want you to do it at all. And they will make sure you can't do it. Valve, on the other hand, has always been pretty open to modding. Like, Left 4 Dead 2 has a bunch of mods, and a lot of Valve's games start off as mods. Like, I'm pretty sure Team Fortress started off as a Quake mod. I could be wrong, but I'll put it on screen if I'm not. Oh, and I want to be totally clear, Valve is in their complete legal right to take down the TF2 Source 2 mod or whatever, or I guess like game overhaul thing, like remake. Either way, the point is they are totally within their right to take this down. It uses all the TF2 assets. Like, the whole game is just a remake. It is definitely different than the Black Mesa thing. From that perspective, it's not a remake. Black Mesa was like a re-envisioning. It was like a remaster. So they're not super comparable, but at the same time, like, I would imagine that you'd have to go to Valve, or Valve would have to give you approval to make something like Black Mesa. So it's just interesting that they're okay with one and not the other. I don't know. It could mean Valve is making a TF2 in Source 2, but honestly, who really knows? If they are, we probably won't know about it until they post a random update and they're like, hey guys, TF2 Source 2 is out now. Oh yeah, we've been working on this for 4 years and we didn't say a single thing about it. I know the chances of that happening are extremely low. Okay, I'm aware that it's a very low probability because Valve just doesn't make games anymore. Let's be honest, guys, they don't make games. The last game they made was for Half-Life Alyx, and that game was made solely because the Valve Index existed. I feel like Valve is more of a hardware company at this point than software, and they just happen to own Steam because they're making more hardware things than software at this point. I can be hopeful that they'll make a Team Fortress 2 in Source 2, or maybe even TF3. Like, maybe Valve will finally learn how to count to 3 with a Team Fortress 3, but I highly doubt that. If I was Valve, I wouldn't count to 3 with Team Fortress 3. That's the one that I wouldn't do. Honestly, I think I'd make Left 4 Dead 3 over Team Fortress 3 because I feel like people have no expectations for a Left 4 Dead 3, but people would have expectations for a Half-Life and a Team Fortress game. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you like TF2 as a kid? Did you play it at all? Did you ever play the game, or are you just watching this for no reason at all? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. Click the end screens now, and thank you for watching. Bye!